Hello, everyone, and happy Hmong New Year. Thank you all for being here today. I especially want to thank the organization, the Board of Trustees, as well as my New Year Planning Committee. We have spent many sleepless nights planning this event. I'm so happy that we're all here again and we're able to meet each other. I want to especially extend a big thank you to our sponsors, Merrick Community Services, Hmong American Partnership, UCare, Blue Cross Blue Shield, as well as Harmony Adult Care Center LLC. Sorry, I'm gonna pull up my little sheet here. I want to also thank Thai Twist, as well as Cups and Cheers, Ramsey County, Unison, K Brown, Hmong Radio Broadcast, and Xiong Bao Mua. Thank you all for being here.
Zimu ne zikide ni cha pe yo to la mu nong o pe lo lu lo de pe tu thơ cho no yo tu thơ cho to lu kong ho Hmong United Hmong Family of Minnesota 我有lu kong ho chu lu che pe cho 要做熊了，有路做熊，做做你看那不，不是不等真着在到不谈米哇，做做你看那呀。
Good morning, distinguished guests and members of the Hmong community. Thank you for joining us for the 42nd annual Hmong Minnesota New Year and the grand opening as we come together to celebrate this Hmong holiday. 用些插πλờ, bây tua xin di tỉnh dây tỉnh mua, vì tu cam mò tàu tàu, bây tàu ở lưu xiong, bây chỉ tàu ship bỏ. We have been on halt due to the pandemic. This would have been our 44th anniversary. As the president of the United Hmong family, I want to take this time where our nation is taking a pause to give thanks and give a sincere appreciation to each and every one of you for keeping this tradition of celebrating the Hmong New Year alive. This is a tradition passed on for hundreds of years. The last 2 years have been harsh, especially when we saw small family-owned businesses close and the losses of loved ones. In coming back together, I want to remind us of our achievements. Through research and data, it has shown in Minnesota, we have over 80,000 Hmong residents, an economic buying power of $2 billion. And we continue to contribute in the workforce and also pay hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes. We continue to make Minnesota the second largest population of Hmong in the United States. And with hosting this Hmong New Year celebration and the Hmong International Freedom Festival, these two events continue to support the vibrancy of local businesses not alone to the Hmong. I am especially humbled to have our newly elected Senator Tu Xiong and our new St. Paul Chief of Police, Axel Henry, along with his wife, and many elected officials and leaders from local offices joining us today in leading the opening ceremonies, as each and every one of you have carved out your time from family and friends with this holiday weekend to join us, sending a strong message, your recognition of the contribution of the Hmong in Minnesota, and reminding us that we are not forgotten and we are in this together. The Board of Trustees named the theme of this year's Minnesota Hmong New Year, Lighting the Torch. Our Hmong elders planted a tree more than 40 years ago. That tree has bore fruit as we continue to embrace being Hmong Americans. This past election, we had several elected to office who are of Hmong descent, reflecting the endurance of this community. As we all come together and rejoice with the festivities and being here in person, please be reminded of the work ahead of us in 2023 with continued need to create more sustainable programs that will support a more vibrant Minnesota for you and I. Yo linh đạo cụ thọ và cho ý chồng mong ý chồng tu chân thành chế thiết cho tu lan chạy lùa cho tây nè tây chỉ cho linh cho tu cộng tây mong Minnesota lúc ba chia bê nhau tua bê mong luôn bê và cho mê tu mình nhỏ ta tỏ tua sĩ từ tua bê lúc ba chia bê nhau sau nó tua bê mong tây chu kỳ chú sinh chấp lờ cú xã hãy lo lù đôi cho nhẹ cho gì uốn này trâu chọn đồng này tàu cho tàu gì tàu tàu ba gì nu nọ bên mông tàu nọ lại tia khó cơ nọ của thọ cả vài chữ giờ sau lo cho cử bên ý chồng mông có đây chia bên tàu hầu có chia tàu nọ thọ cả lưới sông lầu ta lưới sông chia tàu tua có bên ý chồng mông nọ cái nhà rồng cứ nhia là bù na có số đời tôi cộng lứa ba chia bây giờ đó một sao vặt sao chế lứa nia lứa sông bây giờ cả tôi xin chỉ luôn dân xì liệt cô. May everyone be blessed with great fortune, prosperity, and happiness in 2023. Please join me in applauding this year's event chair and co-chair Kiari Lee and Tu Li Cha in your planning committee for creating a great event for us today. Before I leave, we have a lineup of speakers to help celebrate the Hmong New Year. Before having them come up to the stage, I would like to share a letter we received from Ms. Crystal Kai, the Executive Director of the White House Initiative on Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders. Khó cơ nó ít trong nhà trong gì, nên tôi cho họ lưu tổ chế nó. Bây giờ Board of Trustees, cái xia hay tia, bây tu mong nhớ là lưu đi kemi cả nó, nu nó bây vả măng, lúa từ má từ xua, là giờ bây cứ bây ti, bây cứ giống xia hay tia mua cho nọ cho chứ, lúa giờ chỉ giờ bây hay nên mong, là lúa tôi cộng bây, chân cả bây chế nên, đầu kế phong kế dư, cả bây giờ tí chế nên ngầu xứ. Ê ya linh đạo, xong nó không mua ít chán đạo chư sang, tôi đã bây cho phong kéo dư, Yatu Crystal Kai, Yatu Executive Director, President Joe Biden, tàu chỉ trả nhớ từ Washington, D.C., là một hoa lử có dễ được biết năng plá hậu đu. After reading this letter, we will also be sharing a video with Erica Mortsugu with a message to the Hmong community in Minnesota. Erica, khu sa tàu ý đại đua tàu hải ở bên lò lù mong cho bên hải ninh mong nhớ đến Minnesota. Khi bên lúc bên châu sầu nọ, nữ tu Deputy Director ở họ lử do President Joe Biden. Ây linh đạo của những chân đạo ổn định bên cho đại video. November 26, 2022, the White House Initiative. Dear friends, on behalf of the White House Initiative on Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, I send warm regards to all those gathered for the United Hmong Family's 42nd Annual Minnesota Hmong New Year celebration. The White House Initiative works to advance equity, justice, and opportunity for Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders by coordinating a whole-of-government approach spanning federal policymaking, program development, public outreach, and more. As part of our mission, the initiative is committed to expanding economic opportunity and promoting the health and safety and well-being of Asian Americans and NHPI communities throughout the country. Throughout its history, United Hmong Family has worked to preserve Hmong culture and heritage through intergenerational collaboration, youth leadership programs, and community service. I offer my heartfelt congratulations on your 42nd annual Hmong New Year celebration. Thank you for your leadership and best wishes for your continued success. Happy New Year, sincerely, Crystal Kai. Y lên đầu bây giờ rồi ôn nữ châu nữ cú sa tô y chan đầu tua hãy lo lù cho bây chồng mong. Y lên đầu thọ cho đại đua tua rần đầu. Lou Washington, White House Initiative.
Greetings and Yangzhang everyone. I'm humbled to be here with you all for this celebration. My name is Erica Moritsugi, and I serve as a Deputy Assistant to President Joe Biden and his Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Senior Liaison at the White House. It's my honor to be the voice in the White House to ensure all Asian American and Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander voices and needs are reflected in the Biden-Harris administration's policies and programs, and that the richness and diversity of our communities are no longer invisible. Thanks to community organizations like the United Hmong Family Inc., the Hmong American community in Minnesota has been able to celebrate this rich New Year tradition for more than 40 years. It's wonderful to see how the annual celebration has been woven into the fabric of Minnesota's history and culture that now draws over 40,000 Hmong Americans from across the nation and even abroad. And since Minnesota is home to nearly 80,000 Hmong Americans, I know how important the celebration is to all of you. It's one of the many reasons why the celebration is so important to us. In marking the end of the harvest season, this is our opportunity to rejoice in community abundance. From Hmong veterans serving in the Secret War to public servants and all Hmong elected officials who lead our communities in policymaking every day, to trailblazers like U.S. Gold Olympian Sunisa Lee. The Hmong community is essential to the American story. And I'm so honored to recognize these achievements with all of you today as you celebrate the 42nd Hmong New Year celebration in Minnesota. I'm also delighted to recognize that Commissioner Kai-Ying Yang hails from the great state of Minnesota and currently serves as a commissioner appointed to the President's Advisory Commission on Asian Americans, Native Hawaiians, and Pacific Islanders, where she and the other commissioners provide recommendations to the President on how best to serve and advance our Asian American and Native Hawaiian and Pacific Islander communities. Since day one, President Biden and Vice President Harris have demonstrated their commitment to empowering and uplifting Hmong Americans. The President's made good on his promise to create an administration that looks like America, while also enacting legislation that advances and empowers our collective AA and NHPI communities. Now, while our shared efforts to promote educational equity, increase language access and competency, broaden economic opportunity, and address anti-Asian violence in Minnesota and everywhere else in this country continues, this is also a time to reflect on our history and accomplishments to date, so that we can build back in a manner that promotes resiliency and healing, especially after the losses we all endured during the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm so delighted to honor the rich history and culture of the Hmong American community today, and I look forward to celebrating with you throughout the weekend into the new year. Happy Hmong New Year. Watch out.